Welcome back to Askewed Reviews. This week we are doing movies that are suggested for St. Patrick's Day watching, and today we are doing the 2022 dark comedy drama, The Banshees of Inisherin. Here is your trivia question for today. What was the first movie Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson did together? Because it wasn't this one. The answer will be at the end of this video. In the film, we have two characters, Podrick played by Colin Farrell and Colm played by Brendan Gleeson. In the movie, Colm has just decided out of nowhere he no longer wants to be friends with Podrick, and the movie centers around what fallout occurs due to that fact. The movie takes place on one of the Irish Isles during the 1920s and right near the end of the Irish Civil War. Podrick is very much a happy-go-lucky, everyday kind of guy. Colin Farrell suggests that the story is really about the disintegration of joy for the character of Podrick. Brendan Gleeson's character of Colm has decided he does not want to hang out with Podrick anymore as he is just sick of hearing all of his dull stories and wants to focus on his music. Carrie Condon plays Siobhan, who is Podrick's sister. Throughout most of the story, she's making the realization that she no longer wants to feel stuck where she is. And finally, one of the other main characters is Barry Cogan's Dominic, who is just a great scene-stealing character and very entertaining to watch. There's also the character of Mrs. McCormick, played by Sheila Flinton. She plays an interesting character as it is possibly alluded to the fact that she may be a banshee or some sort of fae folk herself. There are also some interesting animal co-stars in this movie that apparently none of them got along with Colin Farrell. There was a donkey that kicked him while Colin tried to feed it. There was a dog that bit him on the hand. And then there was the horse that tried to back up the cart he was on into the ocean. One of the very best things about this movie is the locations. All of the areas in Ireland that they chose to film were beautiful and so picturesque and worked so wonderfully for each scene. Here's an interesting piece of information for you. J.J. Devine, the public house that appears in this movie, was built and created specifically for the movie, and because they didn't have a permit, they had to deconstruct it right after filming. Also, something that I actually did not know. Public house is where the word pub comes from. I know that may seem dumb, but I did not realize that. By the way, all that wonderful music you hear coming from Colm, that's actually Brendan Gleeson, as he's a trained fiddler. The chemistry between Brendan Gleeson and Colin Farrell is amazing. The roles that they play are very believable. So, all in all, The Banshees of Inisherin is an interesting movie. It is very, very slow at times, I will say, and maybe not specifically the type of movie I always like, but the acting in the movie is so good. And the story is enthralling enough that it kept me going throughout the whole film. So, I'm going to give this movie a 3 out of 5. Now, as for the trivia question from the beginning of this episode, what was the first movie Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson did together? Because it wasn't this one. It was actually the movie In Bruges, another dark comedy that not only had both Colin Farrell and Brendan Gleeson in it, but both this movie and that one were directed by Martin McDonagh. Thank you for watching this episode of Askewed Reviews. If there is a movie you'd like to see get a review, just put it down in the comments. And as always, like, comment, share, and subscribe.